Hey
Good
y'all.
people.
What's
Hey.
up, everybody?
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I didn't think you was gonna make it on time,
And
friend.
listen, let me tell you
It was
something.
magic.
I have a Bartesian, honey. All I got to do is put my capsule in and
Oh.
say, I'm making strong. Make it for me.
Friend said, and she bad with it, okay?
And friend. That's why I
First
said,
of all,
I'm gonna start. I was like, I just knew y'all were gonna be like, she ain't gonna make it back. She gonna be just
I already knew we was gonna be
honey,
covering.
I was like, honey, I'm sitting here with my drink, waiting for
Listen, and
you.
let me tell y'all something. First and second and third, baby, that thing is bad. Cause when she made me that drink when I was there,
Yes,
I had to sit for a minute before I could leave and drive to the airport. I was like,
yes, Sean, I love my Bartesian because you know you can tell it if you want it light, regular, or strong. And when they say strong, honey, it's strong.
Okay. All right.
it's strong. How we do it
It's
strong.
strong.
So
I
So,
feel you.
we're supposed to be talking about decolonizing some things with desire in our bodies and all the things. But before we get into that, Gypsy found some stuff
right.
in the internet streets that we
Yes,
need to talk
I know
about.
I be in the internet streets, and so let me tell you a little background. Um, I was I was in there like reading, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This chick sounds insecure. So I threw it out there to the team, and I was like, something wrong with this. Now I'm gonna read the scenario, and I need y'all to chime in the chat because I already know where I stand. We won't talk about who stands where until after you guys hear this. Okay. I've been married for 13 years now. I recently found out that my ex-girlfriend from back in the day is on life support and the family is pulling the plug. The family is letting anyone that wants to say their goodbye do so. My ex and my older sister were besties forever, and she's going to say goodbye. The problem is, I low key want to go say my goodbyes, but wife is not having it. As a married man, am I wrong for wanting to go, or is my wife tripping? What should I do? Wife is tripping. Listen, that girl finna be cold. What the hell is wrong with you? Let the man go say goodbye. She is finna be up out of here. That is not your competition. It ain't like he was trying to climb in the casket with her. Get out of here.
But maybe she feeling like he loved her more than he loved her.
There is a such thing though as, that first one, that first love, that when they getting ready to check up out of here, you kind of feel some kind of way. You want to go say goodbye. It ain't like he met her and he was a virgin. She knew he had a past when she got with him. Get out of here.
I feel
Go on and say your little thing, boo thing. Go on. Go on and advocate for the insecure lady.
Oh,
I
oh, oh,
mean,
We won't do that over here. No. So is this thing on? Like I was saying before we came live, I feel like there's a couple of things at play. One, he's been married for at least 13 years. So you're
Mhm.
talking about a whole new decade of life. They grown, right? Even if they got married when they were 20, they're at least in their mid 30s by now.
Right.
Because we don't know how long they dated before they actually got married, but at least 13 years because they were married 13 years. That
Mhm.
being said, too fucking old to be worried about what somebody from his past is doing or ain't doing, dying or ain't dying. And this is not anybody that he said he had a current relationship with, meaning he probably ain't talked to her the entire 13 years he been married. Sir, why are you that involved? Number one, to want to go to her funeral. Number two, to get your ass online and advocate to get strangers to take your side so that you can do something your wife asked you not to and have backup as to the reason why you did it. Number three, I feel like the fact that you did that way means there were probably some feelings coming up. Because like I said before, having done hospice care for a long time, and it doesn't mean that he still loves her currently or wanted to be with her. But there were probably a lot of emotions coming up that he needs to figure out how to work the fuck through and leave them alone. Because when people start dying or getting really sick and get close to death, everybody wants to put rose-colored glasses on. But I remember back in the day. Fuck back in the day. Y'all not together for a reason. Y'all are exes for a reason. Don't put the rose-colored glasses on and make it seem like it was all of that because you chose to marry someone else. So in my mind, we give energy to the things that we want to prosper and to thrive. We don't go back and pull dead bones and pick them bitches up and breathe life into them. You get what I'm saying? Like, no. I don't think the wife was insecure. But I did also say that if he just felt that strongly about it, it's something that he should have just done. You're putting forethought into doing something that your wife would obviously find hurtful. Instead of it just having been a last minute decision, he found out, he went and then shared it with his wife. If she got upset, he could have handled that then. But if she put her foot down and said no,
foot down
of it, because I really think that if the tables was turned and she was online saying, well, my husband said no, what y'all think? He probably would feel some type of way and feel disrespected. That's all I'm saying.
And I definitely understand both your points of view. I mean, me personally, I feel like your EQ should be where it need to be. That you shouldn't be.
Choke on it, Sean. Wait a minute.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, because there's a lot of people that aren't mature enough to handle those type of situations. Is basically what I'm saying. And my whole point is, you should be mature enough because for me, if it's my woman, my wife, my girlfriend, that we just met, okay, maybe if she was feeling insecure, okay, but if it's somebody I'm with, then you should know me and know that, I'm going to say goodbye because, we did have a certain relationship. Now, granted, he didn't give enough context as to how long that relationship was, how deep that was, so we don't know all that. He just gave some real basic stuff. But at the same time,
my best friend, we didn't know each other over 34 years. If you croak up out of here, I'm going to say goodbye. I don't give a fuck who say no. It is the same because somebody's insecure. If it's a man and you going to say goodbye to another man, a man that's insecure is gonna be like her and be like, no, you can't go say goodbye to him. Why you want to go say goodbye to him? Fuck out of here.
Not the same.
But that's my whole point. It takes a little emotional intelligence to understand that, okay, and especially if they're on a deathbed, it's not like they invited me to a weekend in Vegas, so I'm gonna go hang out with them. It ain't like that. It's like they deathbed. It's documented. Everybody know they dying. You just want to say goodbye.
So again, I feel differently about death, right? And I was honest about that. In context, I probably experienced it a little bit different than maybe the average person, having been so close to it for so long. Is the only death that has ever really, really affected me was my grandmother. Like, and that was my heart. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, and my best friend that passed unexpectedly, like literally. But outside of that, in 45 years, I can't say that I've just boo-hooed at people's funerals.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. You remember what you just said? Your best friend who died unexpectedly. This is probably unexpected. Hold on now.
They ain't talking 13 years.
Hold on. I'm finna use your logic because guess what? When our friend Kofi died, we were 39, right? We don't expect our friends to die of heart attacks and stuff at 39. So let's just say, even if they are mid-30s, you don't expect anybody you know to die in their mid-30s, right? You don't. You just don't. And so,
but that's what I'm saying. That's where I differ. I do. I expect people to die every day. Hers hit me because she was like a soulmate to me. We talked 3-4 hours a day. That's why I said that's different. I've had other friends die that, though I was sad they died, they're just not here. Okay, life keeps going. You get what I'm saying? So
I don't know. When I was in my, I don't know this.
Like,
when I was in my 20s and 30s, when somebody in my circle died, it really hit me and affected me differently, because in my 20s and 30s, you know, I'm still at that I'm invincible type stage, right? And so you don't expect your friends, your people you know, your people you went to school with to die.
So again,
Miss Hospice Care, that's why.
Because I've been dealing with this since I was 19, right?
Right.
So I dealt with my first dead body when I was 18. Like, literally had to give him a bed bath because he died while I was on shift in the nursing home. And we had to prep them for the mortuary to come pick them up.
The fuck you say? The mortuary need to prep him.
Well, because he...
Oh, I'm sorry. That's part of their job.
It was a thing of respect. It was that's
their job, though. You supposed to be fixing him for the funeral. What I got to give him
the baby. It wasn't fixing him for the funeral. We gave him a bed bath to clean him up because his body had evacuated his bowels. So we cleaned him up out of respect, right?
That's why I never worked in the medical field.
And we put his pajamas on him, and you know, different things for different people. But yeah, we put his pajamas on him, got him nice and presentable, and then they came and picked him up and did, you know, whatever they had to do. And I was there with him when he was taking his last few breaths, literally, because he died from congestive heart failure. So you got to think, I've been doing this since I was 18, 19 years old. I'm 45 now. Talking about 26 years. So that's why I said, for me, I do expect people to die regularly because I see how fragile life is. And that's why I look at it the way that I do. Like, you ain't talked to this person in 13 years. The reason my best friend hit me so hard, not that I didn't expect her to die. She died suddenly in my mind, but she had been sick for about a year. But that was somebody that I talked to 3-4 hours a day. And I don't talk on the phone. Like, y'all know that. I'd be like, okay, I got to go. My timer in my head then went off. I'm out of people and skills. Right. But I made space for her. Shut the hell up. So that's why when I read that text, I was like, this ain't nobody he said he had an ongoing experience with. Like, hey, my wife was cool. We were still cool. We saw her in passing. No, you ain't talked to her in 13 years. Funeral? No.
He never said that. He never said
I'm inferring context based on what he did shit.
Exactly, and that's what I said. He did not give enough context. That's what I stated.
My ex, and I've been married 13 years.
Yeah, I already said he did not give enough context.
Well, no, the reason I'm inferring that is because, logically speaking, had they seen each other in passing and probably had some existing experience or relationship, the wife would have been like, let's go.
Yes, thank you, Nadina. Thank you.
Everybody, what she said. Wait a minute. Everybody processes death. Absolutely, right? So that's why I'm saying, listen, if my husband comes to me and says, and I'm good with boundaries, y'all know this, I'm ironclad with him. So if my husband comes to me and says, babe, my ex died and we dated 20 years ago, no.
And I need to process this death.
Wait. I just thought about something.
Here goes Sean.
So
here you go.
He coming in and he don't ask. He just tell you the situation. But I feel so down, and then the next thing you know, he throw that good vitamin D on you, And then he asked, "What you gonna say?" You still gonna be like,
Wait a
"No."
minute, he threw the vitamin D on first, the Thanos D. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. What if that happened? You gonna be like,
No,
"No."
it's gonna feel horrible. Just bring me back a program so I know you went.
You're like, okay,
I'm just saying.
no, but for real, I feel like that's still premeditated because now you're trying to soften me up. It's the difference for me if he finds out last minute and he's like, you know what, let me go pay my respects to her and her family. Hey, I can't even get mad at that because it's something you just took action and did it, right?
He don't live in the home state no more.
Premeditated trying to butter me up to get me to say yeah, then I feel like, nah, I think you feeling some stuff you ain't sharing. And that's really what would be the issue for me.
But I mean, a lot of people process death differently. That's the reason why I said that, because I know people that, you know, when something like that happens for them, you know, having sex helps them deal with it and process it. You know what I'm saying? So,
but you also got to know your person. I think there's a reason the wife probably said no. Maybe they've had some issues in the past.
And that might be true too.
Maybe she's insecure.
I mean, and maybe he did things to make her insecure. We don't know. He did not give enough context.
This is true. He did not give enough context, but given the limited information that he did give, I said, the bitch is insecure. Let him go and say goodbye to the cold body and then come on to the house.
Yeah, and I say I agree with both your points.
Nadina said, if you're insecure, you have a problem, but people have, okay, your last piece got cut off again.
People have what? People have what, Nadina? Please support me. I mean,
y'all, this is how we
I just have a feeling she's gonna support. I have a feeling she's gonna support my case.
This is how we be cutting up. Listen, oh my gosh, and just for y'all that be really concerned, because I've gotten people message me, but like, y'all was really upset. Is everybody okay? This is how we be as soon as we get off live. Like, no matter how intense it gets, we love each other, y'all.
We are cool, y'all. Y'all just don't understand. We are cool. We got this.
Yes. Sean and Gypsy are like 30 years, and me and Gypsy's like 16, 17 years at 15.
Yeah, 16, 17, because yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh God. That's a long time.
Oh my goodness. So we good, y'all. We good. We locked in for life
next week.
I mean, we have healthy conversations, you know.
You have a problem in their relationship.
Healthy conversation look like.
Yep. Exactly, Nadina, because that person is dying. And so if you have problems with somebody saying goodbye to somebody that's dying, there's other problems in the relationship. And it ain't about that person dying. That's just what you're latching on to.
Could be. Like I said, those that think like me are probably going to be like, what you need to go for? And it's not that we're cold-hearted or don't care. It's just that there's a different understanding of death, right? And so I ain't got nothing for you other than my answer would be no. But if he truly could explain to me why he needed my husband, if he could explain to me why he needed to be there and it was healing for him, or he wanted to go support his sister. In this case, the sister was the best friend. That I can rock behind. Like, hey, I'll drive you. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like you can take something that's not wanting to be taken. So for me, it's less about insecurity of somebody taking my man. If you can take him, he don't belong to me no way. He's not property, number one. But two, he clearly ain't trying to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But to me, it's just boundaries. You know what I'm saying? It's just boundaries. You feel me?
But maybe he doesn't know how to articulate it. We don't know.
Be. That is, I feel like there's a level of respect.
Just like the description he gave, you know, it wasn't too much context to it.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a level of respect though, for real. Because like at the end of the day, can we all agree that a lot of relationship issues start because folks be on social media telling their business instead of talking to their person.
This is true. However, It also starts, it also starts when you got your own issues that you haven't dealt with, your own trauma that you haven't dealt with, and then that might be triggering for her.
Daniel said everyone processes differently, and that is true. That is true. That's why I said you have to know your person. So there may be something going on between the two of them.
Right.
Why she said no or whatever the case may be. Who knows? But
I don't know. I'm a grown ass woman. You ain't finna tell me I can't go say bye to somebody that's finna be cold. Get out of here.
With that being said, Heifer, tell the other one that you put. I was laughing so hard I couldn't even tell my friend about it. I had to show it to her because I couldn't stop laughing.
Okay, y'all. So, like I said, I be in these internet streets and I be seeing all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's this dude named Steven down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Steven is on somebody's dating app. Well, guess what Steven's profile says, y'all? Hello, this is Steven's wife. I don't know why his sneaky ass is up here. So don't waste your time, ladies. Be careful. This man has been caught and will be missing half his ass when I get done with him. If you're interested in a homeless man with half his ass shot off, then by all means match him. Yeah, that'll be a no for me, Steven. But that was just too funny for me because I was like, hell no, not that she got on there change his profile to tell everybody that, and his ass is married.
See, like I was laughing, so I was trying to show one of my besties because I was with her before I ran home, right? And she met her husband online. And I was laughing so hard. She was like, girl, get it out. And I couldn't because I'm like, here, just look. And I'm like, but this is why we have to ask questions. This is why we got to be private and child MacGyver at this point. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you know what?
No. Hold on, wait. Hey, no, y'all don't be. Because if a nigga fucking up, no. You have no idea. Like I don't understand why the FBI and CIA just don't consist of all women because y'all be going ham. But anyway, if a nigga gonna fuck up, he gonna fuck up, and y'all gonna find out. It's gonna come out. But anyway, on top of that, I feel like that was just some clickbait because she had to go, unless she is an IT professional, an ethical hacker, preferably black hat. How the hell did she get up in his shit and change his profile?
Because men are stupid and they leave their phones logged in and stuff. And she probably went into his phone, changed his profile. And he's so stupid, he don't look at his own profile. So he don't know that his profile been changed.
You want to know why I agree with that? Let me tell y'all a little bedtime story. Okay. So this was 2000
Black Planet days?
No, I don't. When was Black Planet a thing? I'm not sure the date.
99 to like 2004, 5.
No, Black Planet lasted longer than that. Black Planet lasted at least till like 2010, 2012, something like that.
Well, I stopped.
I actually think it's still around.
Really?
I'm gonna see if my profile's still live. No,
oh my God. No, this didn't even happen on Black Planet. This actually happened on Facebook on my previous profile before it got hacked. I was dating this pastor. It was like 2000.
A pastor?
11. Girl, yeah, they the biggest hoes. This was like 2010, 11. I was dating this pastor. He lived out of state. So he would come back and forth to visit with me. This was when I was still in Atlanta. So he came to visit and my laptop had like literally, so I had the little fancy one where the screen would flip and turn and do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it happened right before he came. And I was so pissed. I was like, God. Anywho, he was like, babe, I got you. I'm going to bring you one of my extra laptops till you have time to go look for another one so we can get another one. I was like, bet. Told on his damn self. This is why I said, Sean, I'm joking. Like, literally, I ask basic questions just so I can do my due diligence, but people gonna always tell on themselves. So he came to visit, left me his laptop, never signed out of anything. So between texting and calling me, he would message me on Facebook, you know, whenever he was on Facebook or whatever. So I get on and I get ready to try to log into my Facebook profile, and it pulls up into his, and the notification starts popping up. Some chick was messaging him, like, where you been? Blah, 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 blah. And he was messaging her, like, blah, 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 blah. So I popped in the message and was like, hey, boo, fuck you. Enjoy. Logged out and kept the laptop and kept using it until I bought a new one.
Yeah, I mean, that really ain't even affect him because, like you said,
probably did. But no, my point was, I was agreeing with Gypsy that I'm not saying all guys, but
most
I am
of them dumb though, pretty dumb.
Are just stupid. Like that.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Actually,
you know, and it probably
the dumb shit that I know guys do.
Yeah, like, I think he had more than her, but the fact was, you spending money to come back and forth and see me, like you could have saved yourself that headache and either not wasted your money all that time or been smart enough to cover your tracks and log out, so you could have kept it going a little bit longer. I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? And I know guys act like I didn't know, but I was like, nah. On to the next.
But I've known guys that have actually used, you know how you be an authorized signer on somebody's credit card, so they was authorized signer on a white credit card, and use a white credit card to book hotel room, motel room, dinners, and when she paying the bill, it's like, yo, what is this? Now it's like, come on, man, you gotta be smarter than that. Like,
come on now. And even if it's not the wife's credit card, why are you using a joint account? Like, that's hard. Just stupid.
Like, stop being stupid
for no reason or lazy. Nadina said pastors are the biggest hoes. Man, let me tell you. And that's why I wasn't fazed, because I had been behind the scenes in the church and seeing all the hoeing. So when I caught him, I was like, not even surprised. On to the next. You keep it moving.
Thank you. Next.
What that singer say? Thank you. Next.
Yep. Thank you. Next.
Oh God, what's her name?
Oh my gosh.
It sounds like a burrito.
Ariana Grande. Yeah.
Yes. Well, Taco Bell, because you know they got the. Never mind.
Oh hell no. You wrong for that.
No, name association. I was trying to call up her association in my head. Y'all leave me alone. Anyway,
I feel you because they do got the grande burrito. So I feel what you say here. It was just funny how you connected those dots.
And I don't even eat Taco Bell, but I remember the Yokira Taco Bell dog. Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ! You know how long ago that was?
Let's tell you, the last time I ate Taco Bell, I remember that little dog. He looked like a little rat.
That was what, like 2010?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a minute ago. Yeah, those Taco Bell. It was a little Chihuahua.
Yes, the little rat-looking dog. They mean as hell to them little bastards.
Because they got a Napoleonic complex.
Ooh, I remember my old neighbor. She had a little Chihuahua. Oh, that little rat bastard. He stayed trying to bite folks. And I'm like, they be worried about the big dogs, and the little ones are more aggressive half the time.
Yeah, they are. I've got 3 little ones, they are very aggressive. Yeah.
Let's pause for a commercial break. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because why not? We're amazing. Make sure that you like this video, because why not? We're amazing. And make sure that you click that link button and share this out to your people, because all I'm saying is, if you have not told them, I don't think you really like them. Okay, moving on. Tonight's topic, decolonizing your desire and your body. I feel like that's a worthy topic because, as we've talked about a lot, in our previous episodes, and as we talk about a lot in our debriefings behind the scenes, it's a whole different experience with sex and sexuality, passion, all the things when it comes to being Black and brown, right?
Yes.
And so I feel like a lot of the things we talk about, we have to hold space for that part of the experience, because it's colored by society as a whole, expectations, and especially religion, Like a lot of how we feel about our bodies and sex and passion and pleasure is colored by religion, right? So I, for one, was excited to talk about tonight because I think that we don't talk about it enough in the overall conversation. Like, what does that even look like? Are we talking about decolonizing passion in sex? Or are we just thinking that, okay, I got a little bit of shame, I got a little bit of guilt, I'm just going to pray about it and ask for forgiveness? But it's deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the conversation on masturbating, why so many people feel conflicted with self-pleasure. I think it's part of the conversation with
Oh, look at Shaw. Shaw said, I don't have that problem.
I just don't understand it. I'm like,
Shaw.
because how can you know somebody else if you don't even know yourself? Like,
you know, I say this every time I'm with you, but every day.
Yep.
For 26 years, right? Like, this is how this whole thing has come into play at this point, is because starting from 18, 19 years old, when I was working in the nursing home and doing home health and doing hospice and all those things, I don't even know how many hours of conversation with people at this point. I know it's in the thousands, right? But specifically around sex, and especially with us, the fear of being judged, the fear of condemnation, the fear of ridicule when it comes to talking about masturbating, when it comes to orgasms. Literally watched a pastor perform some vows. It was a Instagram video, something popped up on my feed. And for all intent and purposes, I like the pointers that he was giving the couple as he was going through their vows with them and getting ready to marry him. He was just talking about the basis of a healthy relationship, like loyalty, friendship, trust, communication, all those things, right? But when he got to saying like something about sex, he didn't pronounce the word. Like I think he either spelled it out or just said, you know, when you have, and didn't say it and kept going. And I was like, wait, this is a grown couple in their 30s. The pastor looked like he was in his 50s or 60s. Why is it?
Maybe it was kids in the audience.
But even still, there's still ways to say it. Like when you partake of each other.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it was just like it was shameful to, and I just was stuck for a minute. So I think this is part of the decolonizing conversation.
And that is true, because I'm trying to think the best way, but it's just, I don't think I can just say it. That's how it was made to seem, and that's what was beat into us, because no, we couldn't just choose a mate and love them. Because either if we secretly married somebody and didn't tell them that, they still snatch them up and throw them on the breeding block.
Yeah.
And just have 15, 20 studs run through there.
Yeah.
Because they trying to generate
labor.
You know, exactly.
Right.
So, for us, it became a secretive thing when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just been genetically passed down. And then, with the whole way the patriarchal society is set up, it's taboo for a woman to express her sexuality, but then they want to exploit a black woman and sexualize her as much as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm. But then, and let's not forget, we also have the incestual things and molestation and things like that. So that is shameful, but it was always about let's not talk about it. Let's not, let's just pretend it never happened. And then there were cases where the children of these incestual type relationships were raised as siblings instead of, let's just call it what it is. You knew that he was touching us and you let him. And then now we got all these kids running around here. And, I even go back to like the Andrew Jackson case. Like, they didn't find out till the 90s that he had children by his servant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This was the 90s when they found out he had children. Yeah, it was rumors. but it was proven in the 90s that he had 6 kids by his servant.
It's funny because I I was out at the and y'all forgive me because I feel like I'm about to butcher the name of it, but it's in Montgomery. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. It's in Montgomery, Alabama, and it's the Legacy Museum is the indoor part of it, but it's 3 different locations. So it's the indoor Legacy Museum. They've got an outdoor lynching memorial where they have the names of all the documented lynchings based on county and state. And then they have a 3rd location that is the outdoor garden and sculpture exhibit. And so that one is dedicated to the slave trade, right? So in the outdoor sculpture exhibit, they actually have several slave quarters, like original slave quarters that were relocated to the exhibit. And when you, like, I'm sitting in my upstairs guest room right now, and it could have fit inside this bedroom, right? You're talking about the entire quarters. So when we walked in there yesterday, it was like 4 of us in there. And that was the entire space. I mean, it was barely enough room to walk around us for other people to get in and out, right? We were all having to kind of trade off and, let other people come in. And I think about that too, right? That this white lady walked in, and she looked like she was in her 70s. No, I'm sorry, we were in the rail car at that point. This white lady walked in and said, kids today don't know how good they have it.
Right.
Right. So what had happened was, God knows, because I was coming in as she was coming out. And I was trying to figure out why it was so tense. They didn't tell me till later, because I passed by her twice. And I was trying to figure out why she was looking so crazy and my friends inside were so tense. So they didn't tell me. So like we was on to the next exhibit and doing something else long gone. And I said, say what? Spirit knows who to put where, because see, I'd have popped their ass. Like, you literally gonna stand in the middle of a slave trade exhibit?
I'd have caught a case on that day.
You see what I'm saying? I would have popped
been in jail.
Ass. But I think that, yes, but I think that's part of the need to decolonize our bodies and sexual desire and all the things, because now we're getting into epigenetics, like Sean said, the ancestral trauma, right? But you still got people from that era that are still living. And so because they're still living and that energy is still running rampant, alive and well, and being passed into more generations, and then you got all of our DNA still carrying the trauma from those experiences, I think it's just multi-layered, which is why we have to have these conversations, right? Because if we don't, then we continue to pass it forward into our kids. I can say at 45, sex was not something that I grew up feeling safe to talk about with the women in my family. That was not a conversation that was really happening. And when they were trying to bring the conversation, I remember my mom desperately trying to protect me, but she was doing it entirely too young, and it was overwhelming, and I was shutting down, right? And so then when I was ready to talk about it, I didn't feel safe to talk about it. And the other women really didn't hold space for me to go to them and talk. So I learned a lot through trial and error, through reading books, through hearing other people's stories. And then as I got into my line of work, I was fortunate enough to learn a lot from my patients as they shared, and I was navigating with them, right? And I'm saying that for a reason, because I feel like I have a healthy relationship with sex and pleasure because of my line of work. But I meet 45s and 55s and 65s and up women that have never had orgasms, or that it's so fleeting, they don't know how to get comfortable and communicate to their partner when they're not having one, versus just faking it to get through the moment, or still feeling like their body is primarily for that man's pleasure and not a reciprocity or reciprocal energetic exchange. Because fuck faking an orgasm or prioritizing his pleasure. No, we in this thing together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like, that's how you should feel. I don't understand men that feel like, oh, it's just about me, because I mean, hey, how is that satisfying? It's not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So how is that? Because I'm not. Oh yeah, I got mine, and she still. No, that's not satisfying. But I mean, it's just all because of what society put out there, and like me myself, nah, I don't conform to society norms
We know
because
you special, Sean. We
I mean,
love
yeah,
you.
nah. I mean, fuck that. I do me, and I'm gonna live my life. I don't feel like I need to do this to do that. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna do me, because all that does is create a whole bunch of unnecessary havoc. Like, because now you got
Yeah.
people out here having anxiety attacks because they feel like, oh, they don't look a certain way or they don't fit in with society. Like, nah, fuck that. Because, like they said, there's somebody for everybody. Trust me,
Yeah.
it really is. I know guys that if you ain't 350 plus, they don't want nothing to do with you. And I know guys just like, yo, I need them about 98, 105 pounds. Like, that's what, to each his own.
Right. Right.
And then I know guys that love everything in between. That's just what it is. That's life. I mean, the only thing that I can say about that is, look, be real with yourself, be honest with yourself, and trust me, if you are, then you definitely can find somebody that you can vibe with.
Yeah.
But I will say that a lot of it has to do with what our ancestors deem as a successful mate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we try to conform with what they believe is a successful mate, and we wind up unhappy.
But,
The-
but so I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I
No,
apologize. I don't mean to be rude. I'm
you
just saying
Yes, you do.
because
No, I'm just playing.
because if we were really looking for those mate qualities instinctually, it would be the woman with the broader hips, the more healthier woman,
Yes.
because we know they're going to be able to sustain and last, and you know, versus whatever. But on the other side, that's where I say that, that's where society come in, because it warps your thinking, and then you start thinking, oh, you need this and you need that, and this is what you need to look for.
But
So it's
but Sean, I'm talking about like the women in the family, because a lot of times the women in the family are saying, well, you need a man that's a provider, you need a man that's this and
Yeah.
a man that's that. And
Yeah.
now I'm not saying I'm looking for no project. I ain't gonna sit here and try
You're
to
not looking for Project Cat.
hell no.
No Build a Bear.
My Build-A-Bear days is over. I ain't trying to do none of that shit. Like, but what I'm saying is, now back in my 20s and 30s, I'm gonna be honest. Back in my 20s and 30s, I let my mom steer me away from people based on her and her logic.
Yeah.
And I have some regrets because of that, right? Maybe they would have been good for me, because at that time I was still building, right? Now I'm gonna be double nickel soon. So your ass better be built when you come over here now. Cause I ain't finna build shit. And I might put some super glue on you where you might need a little fixing, but I ain't finna do all that building.
Be 40.
And if you still trying to be a rapper, listen, don't come over here. Don't come over here.
But Gypsy, some people get a late start in life.
Your rapping
you ain't seen those two, I can't think of their name, those two rappers that blew up. They like 60s, 70s from Europe, two white boys. I can't remember their name.
But they're retired from a real job.
But they rapping their ass, so I know they making money because they be rapping, they be spitting.
But if you couch surfing and you still trying to be the next Puffy,
well, ain't nobody say that. Ain't nobody say that.
Soon.
Yeah, ain't nobody say that. Ain't nobody say that.
Sure said, C said that part, Gypsy, what the elders think is appropriate, all right? And
Right.
then WD fought it, listen, because someone be a
Right.
little creepy, they be needing a little help. That's all I'm saying.
But you know, that's the thing, is because a lot of times, and that also
That's
has
Tanya.
kind of shaped us in this generation. Now that younger generation, that Gen Z, they don't give a shit what you
Not
say,
at all.
we say, nothing. They don't conform to nothing. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to do whatever.
Now I give them their props for not conforming to
Right.
the stereotypical shit, but at the same time, I don't give them props for not doing that. Now I understand, hey, you don't want to work, go out here and make your own shit happen. But don't just sit around and live off your parents. That's the bullshit.
Tanya said, I'm not fixing, you fix them and end up fixing them for somebody else. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true too, Tanya. But that's the thing though, is we were probably the last of that generation, because we also were that first generation post civil rights. And so our family, yeah, so we were like kind of like stuck, because our family was like, no, you need somebody that's a provider and this, that, and the other. But also think about this too. Women didn't really have rights to do a lot until the 70s.
But when I said we got a lot of shit, so you gotta understand, half of us were those militant, civil rights parents, and the other half was the pimps and the hoes out in the streets.
Yeah, because my daddy was a pimp.
And so once we came up and then we started meshing together, it changed shit.
Listen, my daddy was like Pretty Ricky, okay? So I'm gonna leave that there. But
yeah, I ain't even gonna talk about my daddy. Shit.
But I'm agreeing with you. Like, you get what I'm saying? Because I saw him, and like the women that used to bend up, like I was estranged from him doing, part of my teenage years. But when I was there, home, and like I saw him in the middle of his shit, like I just, as a woman, as a grown up, as a woman looking back, I can't figure out how this man had these women doing all this stuff. Like,
how.
Girl.
I mean, I ain't gonna have to say it, but
I ain't trying to do that. I might be a okay.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
I know I ain't.
You know how.
About it. But that being said, C said Gen Z is looking at what you do and what you say. If it does not add up, they are out. Yes, but a lot of them also have some entitlement, and that's not all of them. I'm not saying all of them. There are a lot of good people, as with any generation. But I do feel like we see a lot more entitlement from some of the young people now. Like, they just don't want to work for shit sometimes. And it's like, no, you got to put a little elbow grease into something in order to get what you want out of it. That's not saying you got to work hard. You got to stay in the struggle and hustle and grind all the time. But life takes effort, and we got to be willing to put something in if we want to get something out, including our pleasure, including our well-being, including our wellness and our growth and our healing. What's up, Said? Quick shout out to your boy, Said. This is my trainer. If you're in the Birmingham area, give him a shout. Don't talk about him because you can't tell right now that I ain't been working out. I ain't finna lie, but I'm getting back on the schedule. Okay. That being said, hook him up. Get with him if you're in the Birmingham area, and check out his podcast. Your boy Said, thoughts from your boy Said on YouTube as well. And so thank you for your support tonight. Also, another quick commercial break. Gypsy, who's your young lady in the DMV that does like the facials and stuff?
That would be Ashari. Ashari does facials, and she's your neighborhood esthetician. We do plug her on the beginning and the end, so you'll be able to find her. Let's see. Wait a minute.
Her information is on the intro and the outro, so you can get her contact information.
Yes, it's Lux Doll.
Lux Doll.
LUXE DOLL Lux Doll. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
I like how you shouted out said real quick, because you ain't want him to send the goons to drag you back into the gym.
Look,
He's about to come for you.
I'm out here trying to be great. Because I listen, when I tell you them heels like this took me down and through yesterday, y'all, your girl was tired. And I walk 5-6 miles a day. So it ain't that I ain't got the stamina, but I got to get back to the weightlifting because, baby, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My God. All I'm saying. Tanya said, women do for me trying to outdo or beat out the other woman, and that approach never works. You just end up being innocent, feeling foolish. Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, do for men. That's what she meant.
And she is a love esthetician on aesthetic on the gram, so she's on Instagram.
Okay, look her up and make sure y'all check her out if you're in the DMV area. We got C on here, Sher Carson or S Carson. I'm sorry, S Carson, mobile notary. So check her out. She can come to you wherever you're located in the Metro Birmingham, or maybe longer distance if y'all willing to pay and cover that mileage. I'm just saying.
Right.
To get your things and your documents notarized.
You know how hard it is to find a notary.
Okay, listen, I be hyping her up to everybody. Like, listen, she travels. She works on holidays and weekends. Your girl done hooked me up in a few tight spots, getting some important documents handled. Important. Child, y'all know I'm tired of long day. I also want to give a shout out to the comedian, and comedic narrator, Benny Mac. Don't judge him based on me, but he is my barber. Y'all, it's my fault. I ain't been in the chair in about a month. I got to get my edges right.
He need to come on back through. He need to follow through. But I think isn't he on tour?
So yes, so he's still doing. So okay, if you're in the Birmingham area, he's at the Stardome Comedy Club every single month. He's one of their hosts. So he's there multiple times a month. I think every week or every couple of weeks he's there. You can always go to his let me not lie, I gotta pull it up, but you can always go to his website, and his logo and his information is in our intro as well. But I believe it's Benny Mac 205. Let me check. But you can find his schedule on his website. And looking it up right now, my phone is just being slow. MacManEntertainment.com or BennyMac205.com.
And then hit up Jason.
And he's touring locally. And hey, Jason, perfect timing. Jason Shorter is also one of the tour guests that goes around with Benny, him and Miss Felicia. They funny, y'all. Y'all got to come check them out. I'm waiting for them to come back with a Recovering Hoe tour, because that was it. It was lit last year. That's all I'm saying. So I'm waiting for them to come back with that. But Jason is another one of our comedians, and he tours with Benny as well. We giving shout outs, Jason. So you had perfect timing, yo. And Jason is one of our loyal.
That's the reason he spoke up anyway.
I know he's such a hater. No,
he probably been there in the cut.
Hey, y'all gonna lay off my man Jason, man.
Whatever.
Y'all lay off my man.
We do see some new people in the comments. MJ Hustle and Daniel Jackson. Welcome. We hope to see you again.
Jason said, "Don't come for him. He just logging in." Shouty, do I?
You know what time here?
Jason, one of our loyal people, because he listens to us faithfully while he be driving back and forth from the ATL on his route. So we love you for that and appreciate you for spreading the word. What's up, Alicia? Listen, if you are in the Beham, perfect time, and this is one of my boo things. If you're in the Beham or the local area, her and the sis got the goods, okay? Her and her sister, they do catering, they do infused goodies, and I'm telling you, it be the business. They do the lemonades, the cookies, the brownies, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, get with them. I got her information if you need to have some fun. That's all I'm saying. You feel me? That being said, our commercial break is over. If we missed you, please charge it to our heads and not our hearts. Just send me a quick message and I'll make sure to give you a shout out.
So there was another.
We supposed to be in solidarity together. See what I'm saying? He turned on us real quick, Gypsy.
Now, there was another topic that we were supposed to cover. Hang on, y'all. Wait a minute.
We were talking about the decolonizing.
Yeah,
we didn't fully explore that.
Yeah, what you talking about?
I mean, don't get that. Look, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
She look like she want to stab one of us right now. I don't
I
know how I feel.
No, it was directed at me.
Now, what I am going to say is what happened because they actually go together about sacred sex versus fast pleasure, because the thing is that because of the decolonizing, we only interpret it as it has to be sacred sex. It can't be pleasure.
Sometimes you just want to fuck. Let's be real.
Right. And that's where I was trying to go. But see, y'all listen, I got this.
Well, because I thought it was a separate topic. Right. I thought we were doing a whole separate episode for that one.
They together though.
I'm with you.
Because that's the reason why nobody wants to talk about the pleasurable part of it, is because we've always been, in church, in the family, they always talk about, well, it's supposed to be in marriage. And that's why they would ship the kids off that got pregnant.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, shameful. It was shameful.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But that was their shame.
Yeah, very true.
Understand that. That was their shame.
But they projected, and so therefore our shame, right? It would make it our shame because they projected that you're supposed to be ashamed because you're not married. You're supposed to be ashamed.
Okay. So let me back it up for a second. When I say that was their shame, this country was founded by the holy people that got kicked out of Europe.
Yeah.
So that was their shame. Our people, there was quite a bit of us that were already here, intermingling with the natives. Right. Plus, from wherever we came from, our people walked around basically naked.
Appropriateness, yes. And Sean, I agree with you, and still do in some regions.
So we didn't have that shame that they had.
Yeah.
And they projected that onto us.
Look at the imagery. The naked body was celebrated, whereas now we've attached lust to everything so that we feel shame when we express ourselves. Now, I'm not saying in today's society we need to walk around ass out naked. Not at all. But
most people do nowadays. But go ahead.
I was trying not to say it. But, I think it's going back to what C just said, appropriateness, different things. So have y'all seen the whole thing making the rounds with Toni Braxton's outfit at her son's college graduation?
No. What'd she do? She would naked.
Look it up. Basically she had on a black lacy outfit with a jacket, and the waist down was lace, and so you could just see her black underwear up under it. And so everybody's saying this was a moment for him to be celebrated, not for your ass to be out and everybody be looking at Toni Braxton. Right? You should have been
dressed like that back in the early 2000s when she showed up
dressed like that at the other son's graduation. She had on a appropriate type. And when I'm saying appropriate, that doesn't mean she had to be dressed up like a school mama or a elder in the church. But again, if it's your son's graduation, I mean, walking with your ass out with a lace bottom is not really a thing that most people are gonna wear to a graduation. Let's be honest about that. There are different locations where some things are more appropriate than others.
Well, she might have liked his teaching.
I mean, I feel what she's saying, but I just looked it up and I'm like, I mean, it's but see, to me, that's just people that have they got an issue with I'm not gonna say body dysmorphia, but at the same time they're uncomfortable in their own skin. So how dare you?
So I don't see anything wrong with the outfit in particular. I see the setting. Now, if he had walked across the stage and she changed into that for the after party or the celebration, hey, rock your shit, mama, because she looks damn good for her age. I just simply look at his graduation. The spotlight should have been on him and not her.
Nah, see, and that's cool. That's conforming to societal norms, and fuck society.
I'm
Ain't
not
nothing
talking about
normal about
norms at this
nothing.
point.
No, no, but that's what that is, because your thought process is, how did she wear that at this event?
No,
That's
not how dare.
disrespectful.
Not how dare. But what I am saying is,
You just said how I can see if she did it for something, but not that. It's inappropriate for that.
because in that moment, I feel like the
Who
spotlight should have been
who
only on
said what
him.
Who
is
said
appropriate?
that?
Who said what's
Who said what?
appropriate?
What?
Who said
Who
what's
said what's
appropriate?
appropriate?
Who
I'm
said that?
saying my thoughts.
Well, that's the way
For
she liked to
me.
dress. You know, she
That's your
dressed like
personal
that. She
opinion.
always been dressing like that.
So what I'm seeing is this from my vantage point. This is a moment for him.
That's your
And I feel
personal
like
opinion.
the average parent, I'm not saying all, the average parent is usually going to say, and again, I'm speaking from a perspective of not having kids, right? But I know how I carry myself in situations when I know that the spotlight is supposed to be on somebody else and not me. I typically am going to chill out because I want them to get all their accolades. I want them to get all their stuff. And then whatever I'm doing in that moment with them is going to be all about hyping them up too. To me, that's like wearing a white wedding dress to somebody else's wedding. You're taking the shine off of that person when it's supposed to be about them. That's how I'm looking at that. If he'd have walked across that stage and she immediately left to go to dinner and had her whole ass out, I wouldn't have gave a damn. And I really don't care because I don't know none of them. So I'm still going to go to bed at night and not give a damn. But for the sake of conversation, I think it should have been about him and not her.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it would have mattered what she had on because she's fucking Toni Braxton?
Right.
I think it does, because some things are going to call more attention.
Okay.
Because all of this hoopla, I didn't even know now one of them graduated. Didn't know when the first one graduated until now, because everybody's talking about her ass being out at this graduation. Wouldn't have known he graduated had she probably not had that outfit on and everybody was talking about it. I saw it because it was making the rounds on social media.
That's a special.
That's all I'm saying. Now, why people started talking about it is their own judgment.
And hold on now.
Wait a minute, you didn't take you didn't take the grandpa pose on me, did you?
I'm just saying. Think about how many followers did he get off that shit?
He did what?
How many followers?
Does he have social media? I don't know.
Of course he's Toni Braxton's son.
I'm so serious. I'm not being facetious. I really don't know. Like everybody.
No, I know you don't know, but what I'm saying is, because granted, they left that graduation. There's gonna be more pictures on his page with her in that outfit. You know how many people gonna start following him to see that shit?
Wait a minute, Jason. What are you talking about? Now I'm about to right now. Are you looking up Toni Braxton's outfit?
We're about to follow him right now.
Said yes, she was definitely tripping with the outfit. Okay, so you tell us from a man's perspective. Said, why do you feel like she was tripping? Jason said, "Oh shit, that ain't nothing." But now I see what you're saying, Jason. See, that's all. I'm not body shaming her. I think she looked good as hell.
Ain't nobody said you body shaming. Nobody said that.
I do still feel like ass out in lace is not something I wouldn't even wear that if I was going to my cousin's graduation, and I'm not a celebrity, but I would be solely focused on, I don't want to wear or do anything that's going to take away from the person I love getting their shine and being hyped up in this whole experience. Now, once we leave that location, if I want to have my ass out and go somewhere else, I'm not, because that's just not me. But that's when I would do that.
But if that is her, that's how she dressed. That's how she dressed.
It is. I mean, but you know that
again,
dresses though.
But once again, who made the rules about what's appropriate? Who?
I don't know that we can say that all the rules about what's appropriate based on location is strictly to colonization or not. I think some of it is, yes. But I think some of it's also societal based on, would she wear that same thing up in church? I don't know. Would she wear that same thing to her birthday party? I don't know.
She wasn't going to church. She wasn't going to nobody's birthday party.
But the point is, would she feel like it was appropriate or inappropriate based on location changing as well? I don't know. I'm not her, so I don't know what she's thinking. I'm just raising the question of, is there a distinction for her? most of us have a distinction based on what we feel is appropriate. So I'm not a person that really tries to police anybody's body, especially women, because I'm like, listen, we got enough shit on top of shit. We don't need to be policing each other's bodies and wombs. But I do feel like there are some spaces where we can give reverence to the person that needs to have the spotlight on them. That's all I'm saying.
And I understand what you're saying,
Huh?
but at the same time,
Says me.
and that's my whole point, that it is a personal thing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna go to bed tonight and not care and not think about it tomorrow, but for the purpose of what we're talking about, decolonizing thought,
no,
it's relevant.
And so my whole point is, in order to get to that point, to decolonize, first of all that bullshit that's in your brain that somebody else put there, you gotta kick that shit out and think for yourself.
First of all, who are you talking to, sir? Second of all, let me get up in the camera like you got up in the camera, because I feel like we having a mom and daddy conversation at this point. Second of all, no, like, I wholeheartedly agree. I do wholeheartedly agree that a lot of times what we automatically think, or the first thing that we tend to think, has come from colonization, has come from ancestral conversations and thought patterns. That being said, Gypsy, what you know about me in the decades, almost 2 decades that you and I have been rocking, Sean, you've only known me for about the past year, right? But Gypsy, what you've known about me and Sean, what you've experienced of me in this podcast, do I seem like the kind of person that's just going to sit in the backseat and take what somebody else said and be like, you know what? I think we should do that. Before I say something,
hold on, wait.
Through it.
Wait.
And I'm not making it personal. I'm just using this as an example.
No, let me just clarify. First of all,
I have thought through it.
I was talking in generalities. I wasn't talking specifically to you.
No, but I'm using me as an example.
I don't know, but you got up in that camera like you was, so I'm just saying.
Well, now, I mean, because I just need to get my point across, because people always think shit. Because people always think shit's supposed to go a certain way, and life be lifing, and you gotta be your own person.
No, but
you was in the camera like you'd have been like,
it was like, so what I'm telling y'all, right. And he had that grandpappy voice on there. You know,
because see, I knew it was going to be a problem when he did this.
I'm sorry. I'm used to taking. I'm sorry. I'm used to taking control. My fault. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come off like that, but
no. See, that was that corporate thug week. That's that corporate.
Yeah, that was that corporate thug. See, that's how. Listen, I ain't one of your workers. You ain't finna bully me.
Hey, you see, I was like, let me get the camera too, sir.
Right. No. You know how fast Southwest can get down there. Don't you play with me?
Okay. No, but for real though, the context that y'all know about me is I really do think things through before I say them, and I do a lot of self-reflection, right? So all I'm saying is, I'm saying it from a point of not really wanting to police her body or just automatically assuming that she's wrong or out of pocket. I'm just sharing my feedback for the context of this conversation, that I think it's an example of sometimes we can allow our freedom or our comfort to outshine other people. And I don't think that's necessarily about colonization or not. I think that's just an example of sometimes. And so that's why I think, but at the same time, maybe it is colonization, because sometimes maybe we go the other direction in an extreme to run away from the thing that has held us bound.
Can I say something?
Hold on 1 second. Let me catch up on the comments, and then I'm gonna kick it back to you, Gypsy. Jason said, "Ooh, Sean told you, shut the hell up, Jason." Diane said, my son wouldn't let me leave the house wearing that going to graduation. I'd have been told I was inappropriately dressed. Nadina says she don't respect her son. The outfit took the focus off of who that spotlight should have been. That's all I'm saying. I just thank you, Nadina. Jason, you're so messy. You messy for real, Jason. Talking about, yeah, he was. C said I had to go see the outfit. Her skirt is out of order. She needed the insert. Jason said you lying at Tanya did. Listen, most of our family members would have checked us like, I know you lying, take your ass back in the house. Like, it's about me today, ma'am.
So can I say this? Sometimes what people don't realize is a lot of people who are entertainers have low self-esteem. And when the spotlight isn't on you anymore, sometimes you don't know who you are. And she ain't had an album in a decade. We ain't seen the Braxton Family Values, I think, been gone for a while. And you know what I'm saying? And so, to be honest with you, it could be that she just wanted to be seen. And that's, I mean, and that's unfortunate, but come on, Jay. You know, from being in Atlanta, a lot of those folks that we was around were up and coming stars and stuff, and they wanted to be seen, and they would do outrageous stuff to be seen. Yeah. There are some people that I know that are in the industry that they're nothing like what you see them in person. Like, you know, what you see them on TV, like they're not like that in person. Yeah. Because they want to be talked about, because the thing is that any attention is attention when you're in the industry, right? Yeah. And making herself relevant even for a little bit, because now, you know, that's why a lot of stars commit suicide when they're when they have to be forced to retire, like seriously, because they can't take it when they need constant adulation.
Yeah.
I mean, so you get into a whole nother thing, and I feel what you're saying. I'm just saying, in her mind, she probably did it to show light, because she knows if she do that, more people gonna be looking her up and seeing her son graduating. It's whatever.
You know, that's the special one. That's the one that was autistic. I thought that was autistic. I did look him up. Yeah,
and that may be what it is.
C said, I saw that Gypsy. She really wanted to be seen at who or whatever cost to others. Now, Sean, I think you bring up a good point. Tanya said, but she's already being talked about. People are talking about this rumored marriage to Birdman. I didn't even know they were still together, but that's cool. Who knows? But Sean, I think that you do bring up a good point that maybe it was strategic. And that's something to be considered as well. Like I said, I don't know much about her kids, but maybe it was strategic to put the spotlight on him. Maybe he's gonna launch something. Who knows? But I also want to say, in fairness, for context, that I understand that my vantage point is going to be different as well as an introvert, right? So I have a fiery personality. By no means am I a doormat. I would speak my mind, say what I want to say, because I think people get that confused with what an introvert really is, right? But I'm used to just holding it close to the vest and guarding my energy with certain things. Also, in fairness and in context, I've got, for the most part, the same body I've had since I was 14 years old. And I got a little muffin top and a little extra weight, but I look pretty much the same physically. You get what I'm saying? So this is also from the context of as someone who developed early. And because it's like one day my body just said to hell with it, we ain't growing no more, right? Because everybody was taller than me, so it shot up trying to keep up, and it was like I give up. So that being said, that being said, I do recognize that. I think I look at it different, because I grew up that way. I was a trainer in my 20s, so I was in the gym around the hypersexuality and the hypermasculinity and all the things, and I typically was covered up. Like I was that trainer that during the wintertime, I had my leggings and my shirt on, then I had sweats on top of that. You know what I'm saying? To be comfortable because of the environment that I was in. And even during the summertime, I still was in leggings and shorts, but I typically had on longer shirts just to keep my ass covered, because I got tired of people staring at it. I ain't got a huge ass, but I got enough. So, you know what I'm saying? So
I didn't need to laugh. I was saying it was just funny the way you said it.
I mean, I got enough. But that keeping that in mind, I do think that my vantage point is different. When you blossom really early and men are predatory,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at that vulnerable age, your mindset is different. So I think I've joked about this in the past. I actually was joking with my friends yesterday, like, I talk shit on the podcast every week, and you'll never really be able to tell, am I vanilla in the bedroom or am I swinging from the chandelier? Because I just don't tell my business like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But that's just because of the life that I've led. But like I said, so I'm not trying to body shame her or just say that she's wrong inherently. I don't think that that's the case. But I do think, based on what the occasion was, there are certain things that in my mind just sometimes are more appropriate versus others. Jason said that's when you and they move differently. We're looking at her regular eyes, not industry eyes. And I do agree with that. There's a whole thing that we probably layers to this that Gypsy may understand more than any of us. You know what I'm saying? Having been in the industry and a lot of behind the scenes things, but I still just say part of it could be colonization, part of it could be not.
That's why I'm shocked, not shocked on the Diddy thing, but a lot of people that have not,
I ain't shocked at all.
They're like, oh, you know, looking at it with,
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about him, but anyway.
No, but I'm just, I mean, just like in general about fetishes and things like that. That's the thing.
It is what it is.
Yeah, people don't understand what they haven't experienced a lot of times, if that makes sense. And again, that goes back to colonization, because there are some people that may have those secret fetishes, but they would never voice them out loud. You know why? Because society says that's freaky, that's weird, you should go to jail for that. Now, I ain't saying that he shouldn't go to jail for whooping her ass and stuff, and I ain't saying he shouldn't go to jail for pimping her out. But what I am saying is that other shit, all that freaky shit he like to do, hey, that's on him. He like to be freaky, let him be freaky. But be freaky with people who are willing to be freaky with you. It's about consensual. Don't be freaky and you forcing me and you tie me up and dragging my ass down the hallway and shit, unless I like that caveman.
Hey, let me ask you a question. If I walked up to you and I tried to pee on you, what you gonna do?
Punch your ass in the face.
But are you gonna sit there and let me pee on you?
No, I'm gonna punch your ass in the face.
But she said people was peeing in her mouth.
Wait, what? How did we get here?
No, but I'm just talking with that.
But she talked about the whole shit like it's consensual.
No, but it's different when it's consensual, though. That's the thing. There are some people who would be okay with that. Not me.
No, right. She was consensual because I don't give a fuck.
There's layers to consent. There's layers to consent.
And because I consented last week, don't mean I'm gonna consent this week.
So this came up Saturday. I was with one of my guy friends at a golf event on Saturday. And what the hell?
Let her finish on it. Don't mean that she let him pee him off.
Those are her words.
Don't play with me.
That's why I ain't want to bring that shit up.
Don't play with me. I was with one of my guy friends at a golf event on Saturday. Golf event, bitches, not no sex party. So we just sitting there people watching, okay? We just sitting there people watching. And to bring up conversation, he brings up the whole Diddy thing. And immediately I was like, first of all, I don't really want to talk about this. But second of all, go ahead and put your foot in your damn mouth. Because you already know I'm gonna light your ass up. And he was like, Jay, go on and say what you was gonna say. So he brought up the whole Cassie thing, and I confess I have not kept up with it, so I don't know what her testimony was or anything like that. But he brought it up, and he was like, well, you know, what do you think? I said, I don't know enough to really think anything because I haven't listened to her testimony. And he was like, well, all I'm saying, but she stayed for so long. I said, yeah. That does not mean that it was out of her own volition and free will the whole time, whether it was willingly in the beginning and out of free will in the beginning, if she was in fear for her life or her safety, or whatever, being abused or whatever. There are
Right.
layers to that. So there's layers to consent.
So then how does she leave?
Listen, again, I confess, I don't know all the layers. But having done work with domestic violence victims, I will say that the front door can be fucking open. And it
Right.
can be somebody on the outside saying, I will hold your hand and walk with you every step of the way. And sometimes they can still be afraid to leave. I have been one of those
I
friends.
understand that.
Listen, I have been one of those friends that when one of my friends was getting her ass whooped, and I was saying, I will help you bury his ass, until she was ready to leave, it wasn't no leaving. And when she finally made up her mind that she was ready to leave, me and some other friends tag team while he was at work one day and got all her shit packed up while he was gone before he made it back to get her out. So I'm that ride or die, you understand? And I'm the one that would, we're not going to say that because I don't want it to ever be used against me in the future. Moving on. That being said, not everybody has the fortitude emotionally or mentally.
And I understand
to walk
that,
away
but
easily. And that's what I explained to him. And that's all I'm saying here. There's layers to consent.
You got to get to that point. And if you allow yourself to get to that point, you gave consent at some point in time. Now, you may not have, reneged it, but you did give it at some point in time to do something.
Right, but when consent is revoked, it's made under duress.
Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything about what he did was right. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is for certain situations, when you in that kind of situation, especially her, because it wasn't like she was just some regular degular that he pulled off the street. So she had to have her own team. She had to have lawyers. But anyway.
But was he paying for the majority? You said she had her own team and her own lawyers. How much of that was being paid for by him or someone else? So how much control did she still truly have? That's why I said there's layers to consent. Is it being made under duress? Is your yes given under duress?
That's called Stockholm syndrome. When someone when the victim falls in love with the abuser.
You're talking about C's comment. Okay, yes, Stockholm syndrome. Tanya said at first it was consensual, but turned into being afraid to not consent. Yes, that's why I keep saying there at least. Again, I want to be clear. I have not watched her testimony. I don't know what's going on at this current moment, so I can't comment on what she's saying or not saying. I'm just speaking from the general outside of there are layers to consent, and having worked with DV victims off and on for years and abuse victims off and on for years, kids to adults. We can look on the outside, and especially if you have a personality like mine or Gypsy's or C or Tanya, leave that there, right? But when you have a more fragile personality or a softer personality, or you don't have family around, you could be the baddest bitch there ever was. When you have no support, anybody can be broken down.
I don't know, but if you get your ass whooped up, you'll be quiet and you'll just go along to get along because you afraid of that ass whooping. But see, ain't gonna be too much ass whooping around here because I'm gonna fight back.
Anybody can be victimized. But here's an example. Why are there cops that are abused every single day, men and women, right?
Why are there cops that do the abusing though?
That wasn't my point. I get what you're saying, but my point is cops are trained to whoop ass. We're not talking about the crazy ones. We're talking about the good ones. And there are cops that get abused in their relationships every single day. And military people that are trained to be badass, and they are abused in their relationships when they go home. Anybody can succumb to abuse is all I'm saying. Let's keep it moving because I don't want to get that wasn't the topic of our conversation really.
But I'm just saying that's still part of colonization, because the thing is that we have as a race, we have been abused before, and we've been abused and been told, that's expected, if that makes sense.
I'm saying let's shift from Diddy to
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
And so in general, that is another form of why we colonize and we say, okay, you know what? I need to look for a person that's going to help me assimilate into life, that or help me, get the house, the dog, the 2.5 kids, and the picket fence. Shut up, Jason.
Hold on one second. She said Stockholm syndrome. Diddy groomed her. She was 19. I didn't know she was that young when she got with him.
Yeah,
How old is I have no idea how old Cassie even is. Nadina said the case is so tricky. He ain't going to jail because of the P or even the drugs. It takes the person on average 7 before they go out. Manipulation, aggression, money will control you. Steve said, not a grown woman. People are quick to age young girls as grown to fit their narrative. Tanya said, and if you don't have anybody you're seeking love and acceptance, we know Gypsy, Jason. And I will say this. So I date older now, right? I'm 45. But I've been dating older since I was a teenager. And we understand.
They're going to jail.
They should have gone to jail. No.
Listen,
and it was only a few years. It was only a few years.
I wanted to talk.
But that was normalized in our communities, right? So we did it when we were younger because we were typically looking for safety, and oftentimes dad figures support.
I'm just saying from a man's point of view.
I'm talking about women.
Men had to date older women because all the girls were dating older dudes. They didn't want to mess. Y'all too young. Like we the same age. Fuck you talk about.
And then now I date older because at 45, I ain't trying to teach a man how to be a man. It's not our job to teach a man how to be a man. It's not our job to groom a man. It's not our job to help a man be a man. It's not our job to fix a man. It's not our job to do any of that shit. So now at 45, I date older because I want somebody that's established, that's comfortable in their career or comfortable in their life, not trying to figure it out. Now, that doesn't mean that older men ain't still in the bullshit too. Some of them are. But you get what I'm saying? So I think we have to look at that as well. A lot of people get into situations, part of colonization, because it was acceptable for so long and throughout history to date and groom young girls.
Well, the reason being is because we had to build a nation, we had to build a society, and older women were more susceptible to die during pregnancy and childbirth than younger women, and so that's why that became a thing. And it was a thing for a very long time.
And it's still a thing.
Yeah. It's still a thing. And that's why they still allow kind of like, they make allowances for that. That's why there's so many of these men that have these little young girls and stuff. Now, a man can date someone that's half his age and nobody will look twice. A woman do it and they be like, ew.
I don't understand why people look at it like that, but it is what it is.
It's the truth.
Because I'm just like, it's on that guy. If he finds that attractive, then that's his business. It is.
Tanya said she was 19, he was 34. Jason said, Jay, you say you look the same 14, so I can see that. Like literally, we
were fast. That's all.
Shut the hell up. No, but literally, like I can remember at 14, 15, 16. All through my high school years, I can remember really
19, 20, 21-year-olds.
And to be honest, yes, but for me, it was protection. Like by that time,
I feel.
When I was home, when I was in Fort Lauderdale, like my dad was that nigga. So nobody in the area bothered me. And didn't matter how old I was, for as long as I would go back home until he died. And even now, if I was to go back home, they probably would still know. You know what I'm saying? Because they would tell him I was home before I had a chance to even put my bags down good. Like she home, she just got to her grandma's house. Like that was the kind of thing they was called, so people respected that boundary. But I didn't have that in Atlanta growing up. And so for me, I was very cognizant of that. And I intentionally found someone that was very much like him.
Right.
Like same personality, because I think I instinctively knew that person will keep me safe. And I've shared on a past episode where there was a moment where this other guy like literally fought me because I didn't want to give him my number. I was like 15, 16 years old. And he put his hands on me and I couldn't fight him like he was a dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. Big ass dude. But I called my boyfriend and was like, this dude just attacked me. And he was like, say less. What he looked like. because I didn't even know his name, but he was like, what he looked like, what he got on. And they went and handled it. So, and I hate that for my younger self. I really do. Like, that's not something that a child should be going through.
Right.
But I think a lot of us as young girls, we instinctively find like the biggest dude or the baddest dude or the most powerful dude or the dude with the most money, whatever it is that we can find based on what our experience has been, to protect us or cover us or provide something that we need so that we know that we're going to be okay. It's no different than a woman trying to choose the best specimen for her kids if she's operating from a place of not just I want my babies to be cute, but legacy or generation. You know what I'm saying?
No, you
But
didn't
but
say I want my
but
baby.
men can't do the same thing, because if I'm like, okay, I want my kid to be tall, I can't go out here and find a 7-foot woman and date her because she's like, you too short.
I mean, I hate that for y'all, but it's true.
Heck no. No, she didn't say I hate that for y'all.
It's true though, but it's true. But like, I know a lot of tall guys that won't date. So one of the tallest guys that I dated years ago, I was the shortest person that he had ever dated. Like, he was 6'6", 6'7", and I'm 5'4". I was the shortest. He rarely ever dated women under 6 feet. And so when we started dating, he told me that. I was like, I mean, I get it. Because he was like, I feel like you're my child. And that's how I looked at him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I get it. So I always wear heels when I was with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to feel comfortable. He wanted to feel comfortable. I get it. Like, nobody wants to feel like they're being a predator. Well, there are some people that do. The average healthy person does not want to feel like they're a predator. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
That's like my friend on Saturday while we were talking. So we were all sitting there kind of gabbing it up. And he said, you know, my brother, he out of the country somewhere living, and he won't date a woman if she's over like 90 pounds. And he prefers them to be clean shaven. I said, that sounds like he one step from pedophilia. What the fuck?
Right.
Yeah,
He was like,
trust me, no. I don't want no clean shave. I mean, for me personally, it's just me personally. I like a bush, but you know, I understand you want to groom it a certain way, but it's gotta be some hair. Don't be a bit clean shave, because now they gonna feel like you a kid or something. I don't have no parts of that.
Right. So that's why I said there are some people that want to be predators, but I think for the average healthy person, women from a young age date for protection. And then as we age and we get older, we figure out what we like and what our preferences are, and then we start to shift into dating that.
So let me tell y'all how that backfires, dude.
Sure.
That forced young guys to date older women, and then they learn stuff they normally wouldn't know at that age. And then when they turn around and flip that, when they finally do hook up with somebody their age, because now they older, and the shorty start dating guys around the age, now they doing stuff to you that you was like, oh shit, oh my God, you lose your mind. Now you want to be all stalkerish, or, you know, just popping up at his house because you addicted. You know what I'm saying? So
like that Thanos D, is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm just saying, you know. So, so y'all need to date accordingly.
Now, for me, as I moved into my 20s, I dated closer to my age. Mm-hmm. You know, I was 20. I think he was 24. You know, but then when I was like 25 to 27, he was 35. You know, so it kind of, and then I dated a guy that was 2 years younger than me. I ain't like it. I mean, there was nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I think I was so used to dating over there.
Why? Because you had to teach him some things.
No, hell, he was still teaching me. I mean,
oh, okay, all right.
But my longest relationship was actually, he was 9 months younger than me. So we were the same age for a few months out of the year, and he was 9 months younger than me. So we were the same age, right?
That's not really an age difference.
Well, I'm saying that to make a point. We were the same age. Mm-hmm. Was my longest relationship, but most of the rest of my dating history was people that were older than me. I think, oh my God, Jason. But that's part of colonization too. Is I think a lot of times women are still expected to have the resemblance to whitewashed beauty. Because if we look at a lot of our people, they weren't really shaving like that. A lot of our historical context, they weren't really slim. Now, that's not to say our bodies don't come in all shapes and sizes, because they do.
Right.
But typically, we were a little bit curvier. We had nice amenities, and a lot of times people weren't shaving. And even now, it still is a whitewashed expectation of what beauty looks like, instead of people feeling
bring the bush
free.
back.
Instead of people feeling free to do what they want to do for themselves, most people are still chasing that aesthetic based on what society as a whole says is okay. And this is all part of reclaiming our bodies for pleasure, like whether you shave or wax or don't, a little bit or a lot, whether you try to. I don't think I've weighed what the height and weight chart said I should weigh since I was in college. Like, I would look like a crackhead right now if I tried to go out and weigh 120 pounds. Like, seriously, you know what I'm saying? My head would be all fat and big, probably too big for my body. No, you know what I'm saying? But you got people literally every single day starving themselves and beating themselves up in the gym trying to accomplish that because of what the stereotype is, and it doesn't fit our bodies. If you're black and brown, most of the time, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. So that's part of the conversation that we have to have around pleasure as well. A lot of the times people are not able to have pleasure because they don't feel good about themselves, because they're trying to meet the beauty standard that someone else said, versus getting comfortable in their own skin and then figuring out how to find their person from that place of wholeness and wellness. They're seeking that person from a place of insecurity, which leads to letdown and regret, because one day you're going to wake up and realize that ain't even the person I really wanted. And they don't want you either. Y'all chose each other out of pain. You know what I'm saying? So all of that limits the ability to orgasm. It limits the ability to create pleasure and really co-create an experience that feels good for everybody. Jason said you was used to Unc Nim. The old heads, ain't that what y'all call them? The old heads.
Old heads. Yep.
Well, you either
go ahead.
You either Unc or OG. You know,
OG. Yes.
Yeah, nobody say old heads no more.
OG. So we went from OG to Unc back to OG. Okay, got it.
No, it's levels. You know, you're an Unc at a certain level, then you're OG when you pass that.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, before it was like if you was 35, you was an OG. But now they done separated them out.
So you learn something every day. Jason said, nope, that us looking at that's us. Ooh. Well.
But honestly, that's the truth. It was the porn industry that normalized shaving. Because if you ever seen a Playboy from back in the 70s, everybody had a bush. And then one day they was like, let's shave it. And then once they started doing that, that's when everybody started shaving.
And I still say colonization, because if we look at porn historically, most of it was still white bodies. And even right now, if you go to almost any porn site that's mainstream, you're going to have to type in, because I have clients that literally get frustrated with this and talk to me about this. You got to type in keywords and do all gymnastics and tricks to get to black and brown bodies, because bulk of it is going to be geared towards.
Yeah, you got to know how to do a Boolean search. You know how to do a Boolean search, you can break it down.
Yep. Okay. I don't know.
That's when you go black plus black plus black plus.
See, you learn something new every day. Learn something new every day.
That's how you make it real specific.
Pearls, baby, you okay over there?
I mean, I'm just saying this. You're right. Colonization has made us start doing a whole lot of shit that we ain't used to do.
That ain't what she wanted to say, but
well, it's because we felt like we had to compete with the others.
I feel you on that.
Because that's the thing, is like you said about them shaving and all this other stuff, and us going in and getting lipo and all kinds of stuff to try to force our bodies into being
I'm just saying, I know what I like, and I ain't got no time to bullshit. My day be pretty full.
Got to be ready to pull it. I hear you, son. I hear you. But Gypsy, I would always add not only for porn, but just because if we look at the modeling industry, Twiggy and Cindy Crawford and all of those ideal bodies from back in the day didn't really look like most of us, right? So imagine if you constantly deny your own body, if you constantly deny how you want to feel, if you constantly take away from what's natural for you, that's going to inherently affect your pleasure because you're operating from a deficit before you even get to the sex or the pleasure, whether it be masturbation, comfort with your person. If you're not comfortable in your own body, you really can't create comfort with anybody else. And so many people are afraid to have that conversation, maybe because if they tried previously, somebody ridiculed them, shamed them, rejected them, whether it was a person that they were dating or intimate with, or a person in the church, or a person in their family, or all the above, And so you still have people in their older wisdom, their wiser years, 40s, 50s, 60s, that are struggling to get beyond that because they never had safe space to work through it. It's still very much present for them. What you got us three on here, like, I'm talking about all the things, right? But you still have people that I have friends, and we've talked about this on previous episodes.
They'll send us
people that won't even share the link to this podcast, not because they don't love us, but because they are so worried and overly concerned for whatever it makes sense in their lives of what other people will think or say. And they have to be that's the boundary that they operate in, right? So imagine if they operate in that boundary, in that space, how does it potentially show up in other areas of their life, even in their sex lives?
I mean, come on, let's just think about it. We got people that have sent us text messages. They be over here
every week,
but they won't log in because they don't want nobody to know they're here. They won't text on here, but they'll text us in the on our private phones or on Messenger and be like, "Well, this is what I think." Well, damn it, type
every week. And I've gotten to the point I'd be like, "No, I'm not saying it. Ask." I would no longer enable you using me as a buffer because that places pressure on us. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're scared to speak, because you're scared of what people will think. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I used to be scared of what people thought too. Now, okay.
You nicer than me because I'm fucking.
You know my favorite affirmation. Fuck them peoples.
Point blank, bottom line, fuck them.
You're right, but that's the thing is that again, that's another thing that society has told us.
You know what when I'm going to care, is when you're paying my bills and put money in my pocket. That's what I'm going to. Other than that, fuck you.
The only time I really care is if it's my man, and even with that, I am always. I'm in a place in my life where I'm just me, and anybody that agrees to be in this space with me has to agree to me being myself, because I need to be able to agree to you being yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now that don't mean I'm gonna get out here showing my ass and embarrassing myself for other people, but it does mean that for me this is an important conversation.
Girl, wait till you get past 50. Oh my God.
That's what they say, baby, because 40 is different. So I'm excited for 50.
Girl, it's something about when you get past 50. You know, I used to wonder why grandma and them used to just say whatever out of their mouth and stuff. It's something about when you get past 50, you be like, fuck the bullshit. I'm almost out this bitch anyway. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm not, because, I promise you, I can remember like aunts and stuff when they were younger, they were a whole lot different than when they got older.
Yeah.
When they got older, they was mouthy. They would say whatever they wanted to say. They say you kiss their ass and keep it moving, right? And so you're just like clutching your pearls because you're like, oh, she's never talked like that. Child, it's something about when, yeah, 50 and older, you don't have no filter. Let me tell you something. Me and Tanya known each other since we was 12 years old. Been through all the phases of life together. And you're right. After 50, you be like, fuck it. This is me. You don't like it? Get the fuck on.
I mean, that pretty much sounds like me now. So I feel like I got some greatness to look
Oh,
forward to.
you gonna be worse after 50.
Sean got something to say.
Point of order. I've never had a filter, so
You should have
Don't say him.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. He's never had a filter. He's never had a filter. He said whatever he wanted to say, did whatever he wanted to do. Like I said, we have over 34 years of history. Yeah, he's never, ever had a filter.
Now, because I do get this question a lot. How did I get here? And I shared that. First of all, this is the conversation that I've been having, for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that another thing that, in all fairness, helped me to get here was boudoir photography. Couldn't get that word out. Sorry.
Boudoir. Okay.
And so that happened randomly, not so randomly, because I think it was divine. But I had a friend who had a clothing line, and I've been doing it since like 2008, right? So I had a friend that had a clothing line, and one day he was meeting with the photographer, and so I went with him to help. And so all the models came in and they were doing their thing, and I was just kind of behind the scenes helping get the clothes ready, doing all the stuff. And so the photographer, and we're still friends to this day. Like, he's been my personal photographer all these years. But he was like, "You're beautiful. You should do this." And I was kind of shying away because I was like really fresh from all the injuries from the car accident and all the things, right? Like, had a lot of shit going on. And he's like, "You should do like some photography." I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, "No, let me show you." So I saw his work. He pulled out his book, and it was just gorgeous. And I was like, "Oh God, I want to do that." Now, full disclosure, he was from New York and crazy as fuck. So no, so it was him.
I have a question. Pause. I have a question.
Yeah.
Were you hesitant because of the perception of what boudoir photography was? Like, because to be honest, in all fairness, when I think of boudoir photos, I think of either whores or risque photos for your
Well, damn. I mean,
I know. She's like whores. Fucking whores. Like, damn. You can have tasteful, artful.
Shut up, Sean.
She's just like whores. Whores.
I'm just saying.
No, be quiet. Let me help you.
That was hold on now. In all fairness, that's part of my colonization view.
It is.
So I'm just saying. I think the whores or
okay. So let's bring this back to center. So to answer the question, because
I'm sorry.
Question. No, it wasn't a bias because I didn't even really know what it was. Like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know that it was supposed to be for whores and prostitutes. Okay, like, because what the hell is you talking about right now? No.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to.
Girl, I'm like, what the hell? No. So in all fairness, I didn't know what it was. My reservation was, I'm trying to think back. My biggest reservation, honestly, was a disconnect with my body. Because I had been in a head-on collision. I was dealing with, there's a different name for it, but the basic thing is the adult version of shaken baby syndrome. Huh?
Dysmorphia.
No. So it's basically like an adult version of shaken baby syndrome. Don't just be quiet. Yeah, Sean, just
I'm just saying.
no. But so I was dealing with head trauma, and that's basically what it was, the adult version of shaken baby syndrome. And so
traumatic brain injury. My friend has that.
Yeah, so a traumatic brain injury, but like muscle. So mine showed up in uncontrollable muscle spasm all over my whole body, like my neck, my throat, and we've all seen the sensational TV show moments where they're riding on the gurney and the person's beating on their chest to get them to breathe and do all that shit. So my friend who had the clothing line, he was my best friend, was a former Army medic, had been a firefighter, all those things, right? So he had all that training, which is how we had become best friends. We had all met in massage therapy. And so because I was going through that, I would stop breathing. And we had those moments. He slept by my bed for like 2 years because I would have those moments where I would stop breathing in my sleep. And he would jump on my bed and like pound on my chest to force my muscles to unlock. So I was always black and blue. I looked like I was being beat on because I was black and blue all the time from them having to do trigger point therapy on me and massage, from him having to literally take his fingers and dig them into my muscles to force them to release. So there was a lot going on. So when I was there, it was this moment for transparency, because maybe this will help somebody. But I was 26, 27, something like that. And I'm in a room full of these gorgeous models. And when I say models, I'm not talking about your stick figure runway models. I'm talking about like all body shapes and sizes, but they were models.
Right.
Gorgeous, you know, full makeup, like walking in the stilettos. And so I'm helping. Knocked my cup over. I'm helping, and I'm just kind of observing, like, just kind of shocked, like, because here I am in this moment where I'm feeling like less than comfortable in my body. You feel what I'm saying? And so when he approached me with it, I had no idea what boudoir even was. So he showed me his photo book, and I was like, oh my God, they are gorgeous. I can't do that. I can't even fucking stand still long enough to do that. So he talked to me for, you know, a little bit of time. And then it just ended up being orchestrated. Like my friend, he went to my first photo shoot with me. And this is how this really went. Like he was doing trigger point on me. And then I would stand in front of the camera and he would have to snap the pictures really quick. And then while he was changing lighting and doing other stuff, my body would be like this. And my friend would literally force my arm out and be doing all kind of shit so I could hold a pose. So that was my first photo shoot experience. And Lenny is my photographer, right? Like he wanted to do it because he was like, you need this. Like, I see you and you need this and I want to do this for you. So it was a whole thing. Yeah, wow, damn, right, Jason? So it was like a whole thing. And it was just so empowering when I did it the first time. Now, the first time I was not completely naked. And we did an overlay so that you could not see my whole body. Like they have and I forget what they call it, but they had a thing where you project a pattern onto the wall and then the pattern shows up on the person. So that was the first way that I did it, right? And I did it like that a few times. And then I progressed to doing an actual, you know, full scale boudoir photo shoot. And then it just was very helpful that the guy that I ended up dating, like he was really supportive of it. So he started coming while I would do the shoots and be like hyping me up and, you know, encouraging me. And I don't think I would be where I am with my body positivity today had I not done it, because I had such severe injuries that I think if I had not been exposed to that and had people hyping me and encouraging me, I probably would have fallen into that insecurity. You know what I'm saying? And it has snuck in there at different times. I ain't gonna lie, it has. Right. But that really set me up to navigate all these things. And then I've just been really blessed and fortunate that the people that I've dated have always been body positive and hyped me up, and not been people that were disrespectful, or because I'm like, I've heard what some women have said their people say to them, and he would not be fucking breathing. Like,
people are fucking mean out here. People are mean in these streets.
Yeah, they're mean.
People are mean.
So that whole experience, if you're in Atlanta and y'all want his information, I am happy to share it. He still does. He's retired now, but he still does some limited work. If you're in the Beham area, I know an amazing, dope ass couple here that do boudoir. And listen, it's a whole vibe. I've done a shoot with them as well. Niklaus Photography, Dominique Niklaus Photography, and dope as hell. Like, I've done a shoot with them before. It's a whole vibe, baby. Okay, they got a studio set up. You get champagne and food. Like,
yeah, because I need to be drunk before I take my clothes off.
Well, and both my experiences were like that. Lenny did the same thing, right? Lenny did this. Like, he used to have it with.
I'm just saying. I don't think you wanted to put that out there, because now niggas gonna be like, oh, so another drink, huh? You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
back to the photography.
No. All I'm saying is that's honestly what a lot of more women need. Is an experience like that, because I think it would teach them more body positivity than anything else, getting them more comfortable with showing their body. Because trust me, ladies, from a man, it don't matter what you look like. There's a man out there that wants you.
But we get our hands.
And that's the thing. Y'all overthink everything way goddamn too much. And I wish y'all would stop that shit.
You know, a lot of times we overthink it, because when we watch your Pornhub selection, Sean, we
my shit regular.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Regular, stop judging him.
And we watch your Pornhub selection, and you be like looking at our skinny minis and stuff, and we know we
nah, that's why I said my shit is
regular. A couple of fries short of Big Bag, then you know.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
My point, you're gonna see some thickness. You're gonna see some back row.
I'm speaking from a point of, like, sometimes people's their fetishes. Their fetishes and the things that they look at will give us the idea. Oh, that's what they really want, right? And if we know we're not that, then it's a problem. Because let me tell you something. A lot of times, how do I say this? Black women are a fetish for white men.
Very true.
I mean, definitely true.
And y'all know what? Because we about to hit 2 hours, and I'm out of my people time.
We finna go.
That's a conversation for another day. But let's pick that back up next week, because that's the whole topic. Jason said, for research purposes, where these pictures at, they will never see the light of day.
For research, right, Jason? Oh, okay.
They will never see the light of day.
So totally research purposes.
But we love y'all, and you know we will see y'all next week. Same. Oh shit! Next Monday is a holiday. We gonna see their ass. Yeah, I guess we'll see their ass.
What holiday? Shit! Wait a minute.
Memorial Day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll be here. So
we'll be here.
For informational purposes, if you're interested in a boudoir shoot, it is not anything that you have to share with somebody else. You can absolutely do it for yourself with you and the photographer and keep it to yourself. You can share it with your boo thing. Yes, people do put pictures up on the wall and do all kind of stuff with it, but it's totally up to you. There are men who do it. There are women who do it. There are couples who do it together. And I've had the pleasure of working with, a male for many years. And then now I have a dope couple team here that do it. Like, you can find the people that make it make sense for you to do it safely. With that being said, make sure that you share us, like us,
subscribe,
and subscribe to the channel. We will see y'all next week, and let's keep this conversation going about fetishes and all the things so we can keep decolonizing these bodies, babies. Mwah! Love y'all.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Peace.
Bye.